Welcome to the Crypto Podcast. You can find all our episodes on cryptopodcast.org. We're also on BitChute and YouTube. You'll find the links in the podcast description. I've got 4 other podcasts: the meditation podcast to help you chill, learn Polish podcast to do exactly what it says on the tin, speaking podcast to help you become a better speaker, and the awakening podcast to expose fraud and corruption, but with solutions. I'm also a podcasting coach. You'll find everything on bio.link/podcaster. Looking forward to this one today. My guest, founder, Commit Club. He's actually made a play-to-earn game in crypto.
The first
one of the very first game, which is impressive. And also had the biggest blockchain meetup in the world. Please welcome Edward Sturm.
Hey, thank you for having me. And I didn't know you have a meditation podcast too. I've been meditating daily for the last 12 years.
Yeah, I saw that. Brilliant.
Meditate for 30 minutes this morning. It's one of my favorite things.
And I've heard you as well when you were speaking, mentioning Wim Hof. So I've actually done an ice bath in Jamaica with Wim Hof.
Jamaica,
and I was drinking with him as well. So he's such a cool guy.
So why do you go all the way to Jamaica when Wim Hof climbs a mountain in Poland?
Yeah, times didn't work out, but I've actually dived into the ice here last year. Went into the, I don't know, maybe 10-15 times for about 15 minutes. And the first time I'd done it, there was a high wind and I was shaking for nearly an hour afterwards. But after that, I started doing the breathing properly and everything, and thoroughly enjoy it. It just gives you like a spark of life.
It's the most cold showers, cold baths. I lived in Ukraine for 2 years. I left 10 days before the war started. And I was at my apartment this January in the Ukrainian winter doing cold baths. And it was, oh my God, like when you get into ice cold water like that, your body has this crazy like anxiety panic attack. And it's like, I don't know, can I curse on the podcast?
Yeah, work away.
Your body's like, get me the fuck out of here. Like, why are you doing this to me? And then you're able to get better at it over time and grow your tolerance. And I went from doing it for like 45 seconds, like max. Actually, it was like 30 seconds, not even 30 seconds max, to 3 minutes in the cold bath. And I could have stayed longer, but you did it. You did it for 15 minutes.
Yeah,
outside,
in the lake.
Lake, because that's even colder than a cold bath. That's like.
But what I was doing is I'm running on the spot, and the very first time I was doing it, because they have I don't know why they do it, but you just everybody kind of keeps their hands. You'd wear a hat, but you keep your hands kind of by your heads. And the first time I did it, I was kind of running on the spot, and my shorts fell off. So I had to go under the water to put my shorts back on before coming out. But some people dunk themselves under. I've done it at night as well. But the one thing is, when you do it, whether it's in the bath, because I know a lot of people now are getting into this, you just have so much energy afterwards. Like it just is, you feel fantastic. So I encourage everybody to try it at least once.
Yeah, it's I could tell you this story. That was like a few weeks ago, and I was about to get into the shower. I take cold showers. And I have like these glass doors going on in my terrace. I had an important call in 30 minutes, and I was naked. I didn't want the neighbors to see, and so I ran into the terrace. It was going to be really fast. My glasses were off, couldn't see very well. I ran into the glass doors and I blacked out. And I almost like broke my nose and woke up on the floor. It was like in the movies when the soldier gets thrown and the soldier like fades into consciousness and the floor is running parallel with your head. It was like that. And I felt liquid dripping onto my wrist where my head was resting on. And I'm like, it's definitely blood. Everything was bloody. So I cleaned everything up. I'm like, I got to make this call. I took a cold shower and I felt so much better, and I made the call and I was fine for the call, because then I had to like go get the face checked out. But like it wakes you up. It wakes you up, makes you feel alive. It's a life hack, honestly. And everyone says it's so healthy.
So I know you've done so many different things, but one of the things, you've done social experiments in Times Square with kind of hundreds of people. You might let me know what that was about.
Yeah. So I'll share my story, I guess. So I went to film school and at studio television production school. It's like the top entertainment school in the United States, in Boston, Emerson College. And I graduated and I was making these like crazy viral videos around New York City. We can't say that one. Some of them were like really, really crazy that I probably shouldn't talk about, but like we took one of my best friends, walked him through Times Square with fake bodyguards and fake paparazzi, and convinced everyone in Times Square that he was like an A-list celebrity. We were the first people to do that prank, but there were a bunch of copycats after us. We did New York City's Harlem Shake in Times Square with 300 people, and I was like the guy leading this crowd of 300 strangers from Reddit, and then the police came and broke us up because we were a mob. We what other we did we had models and we had them do challenges from the internet, like the milk jug challenge and the cinnamon challenge. Just like lots of wild videos. And while I was doing that, I was working at New York City nightclubs for 3 years, which is like this insane world that no longer exists because nightlife in New York City has died compared to the levels that it was at 10 years ago. Got into SEO. I was doing SEO for Fortune 50 companies like P&G and ADP. Started my own agency, and then that's when I got into crypto. I don't know if I should stop at this point. The crypto thing is another crazy story.
No, and just on this challenge actually, because I saw that cinnamon challenge and I was showing my son and he was like, no way. So my son, he's 8, wanted to try it. I said, grand, and I recorded it, and he just, it was like a puff of smoke, the cinnamon. But the amount of abuse I got, you swear I was torturing my child.
Oh my God,
He
no,
actually
it's
decided
crazy.
he wanted to do it himself. Obviously, he will never do it again. But when you do these things, like there's a percentage of people that just have to abuse it no matter what you're doing.
Yeah, people, I mean, man, people like to abuse themselves, like the hot pepper challenge. Like, yeah, since I was a producer for that video, like everyone wanted to see me do one of the challenges, which was fair. It's like we're making these actresses do them, so like I should do them too. And so I get up in front of our crew of like, it was like I think 22 people, and I stand there and I eat a habanero in front of all of them, and like I passed out on the floor. It's like I didn't actually pass out that time. I did pass out when I ran into my glass jars, but like if you've ever have you ever eaten a raw pepper before, a raw hot pepper? Oh, so
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
like
I
that's a
can
different
barely do
level of pain.
mild, like, so I know that is not for me. These
That's
hot
like
chip
a different
challenge and
level.
everything.
Yeah. Oh my God. That's a crazy experience too. Especially I did it in front of like 22 people, like you were just watching me and cheering me on. Um, and yeah, our videos, we've had like hundreds of millions of views. If you include TV syndication, we've had hundreds of millions of views on our videos. Like I've been on the biggest TV shows in the United States, like 2020 and Good Morning America and the Today Show. You could search like Brett Cohen, caught on camera, like for that was a good interview that I gave in that one. Brett Cohen was the guy who starred in our biggest video, and he's one of my best friends in the world, and now he's head of events at Forbes, like produces all of their events. And like I've known this guy for like 12 years, and he like this was we went viral together, and he crushed it. He went on all these interviews, and he was like, I think he must have been like 20 years old at the time, and he was so charismatic, and like everyone thought he was this like born entertainer. And but yeah, so we made all those viral videos, and then I did SEO, and then in mid 2017 I got into crypto and my life changed.
Tell me the
How long
crypto
have
journey. How long am I?
yeah.
Oh, I was late. I mean, I was tipped off very early about Bitcoin, and just once I heard wallets, your man was trying to set me up a wallet on my phone, and I was like, nah, you're grand. And I just kind of, and same with Ethereum, I kind of met someone telling about Ethereum as well at an early stage in that one. So yeah, it's only kind of maybe 2 years that I'm,
Okay.
yeah, so late, but then just getting into the NFTs, and I believe that I'm working on a business with NFTs, doing digital art and photography, and I see the value of NFTs.
Yeah, NFTs are funny. I mean, I think all things that go crazy, like in crypto are interesting, and I could go on rants about NFTs. Like, oh man, like for example, like NFTs are cool, but like, I mean, there's also like so many people ripping off people's deviant art and like turning them into NFTs and shit. Like, so like, how long ago did you start this podcast?
A year, but what happened is I had 10 lined up, and then 6 people let me down. So then it kind of had a little break in between because I was working on a few businesses. So now it's kind of going, and I've got plenty lined up now. So
That's good.
I got it into the top 5%, and then it just dropped out. So now it's
Cool.
back into the top 5, and I'm trying to get it. Like the other ones have all been in the top 0.5%. So I'm trying to do the same with this one. And
Cool. And I
even
can give
better.
you, I can also like give you like amazing guests as well, because I've been in the space for so long.
Yeah, brilliant. Yeah.
So how has the podcast been doing?
Yeah, it's doing good. Enjoying it. I think mainly what I'm getting is I'm learning so much from it, and then kind of incorporating what I'm learning. But what I'm shocked was, it was kind of originally to kind of educate people on the crypto world, because there's so many people haven't got a clue. But there's a load of experienced people were kind of getting in contact with me that I knew that are into crypto and saying, whoa, I never knew that. And they're kind of enjoying it as well. So I think, I don't know, would you call it my stupidity or my inquisitiveness, but based on the questions that I'm asking, it's kind of like people haven't been, like, for example, the NFT was one of the guys that came on, but I had mentioned it before, is like, that they're not secure, so if somebody has them, the actual, it's different with just a graphic, like, but when you've got it, like, say, like digital art, if, say, I create all this digital art and put it on, say, Amazon, and then don't pay it, the people that have bought the digital art then just disappears. Whereas I thought that it was actually the code that you got, that you were getting the whole lot for the digital art.
What do you mean? Are you talking about rewritable NFTs?
I'm on about actually the NFT itself.
So, yeah, I don't understand.
So, and it wasn't something that I was aware of, right? You have, say you're buying a digital NFT.
Yeah.
So I assumed when you bought a digital NFT.
I mean, all NFTs are digital, but yeah.
Yeah, I know that, but I assumed that the information was actually on the blockchain, the whole lot of it.
Oh yeah. That's, dude, that was like my assumption well, that's how it was supposed to be. So like, oh man, but then there's rewritable NFTs where people can change the art, like, and there are reasons to do that within an NFT collection, especially if you're making like a metaverse, if you're making a game. But to me also, like, I don't know, it kind of like changed, because it's centralized, and it changes. Yeah, it changes the purpose of like crypto a bit. There's so many projects now that, like, crypto, I think at the beginning was just all about decentralization, and now it's like, I'm not completely sure. Now it's like openness. It's about, it's a lot about money, because it's not as much about decentralization. Even with the merge, like, there's going to be so many Ethereum nodes on AWS, like Amazon's going to have like a large control essentially over Ethereum, which is a lot of, I only learned that, actually. I learned that a few days ago on a call with, I was on a call with this guy who's been in Bitcoin since 2012. And he was telling me that, and he's like, yeah, now, like, we have these other solutions that are fast and have high throughput and are cheap, and they're not very centralized, and like, yeah, and Ethereum is going to become less decentralized. So it's weird how we see like this decreasing trend of decentralization. And NFTs are a great example of that, for sure. NFTs, like, like, it's weird. And then if you look at what happened with, I don't know, did you talk about TC on any Tornado.cash on any of your previous podcasts?
No,
You didn't. But you've heard of Tornado.cash.
I didn't actually.
Oh, Tornado.cash. It was, it's a Tumblr. So it's a way for people to wash their money. I've never used it, but it's been used by good actors and bad actors. It's a way for people to hide their monetary transactions. So people who are doing super legal things would use Tornado.cash. But Vitalik, he posted on Twitter, he used Tornado.cash to give money to Ukraine. And so it was this super popular project, super decentralized, but the infrastructure around it, the supporting infrastructure, was not. And so like the government decided to go after it, and its GitHub was taken down. I think like it couldn't host its website anywhere. People were arrested. And so I think so many different external platforms associated with it went down. And so like there's so many of these decentralized projects that are like, the space is still crazy immature. If the space is supposed to be trending towards decentralization, and I'm not actually sure that it is, but if it's supposed to be, Bitcoin should always be decentralized. But if the space is supposed to be trending towards decentralization, then we're like in crazy infancy, because there's so much that needs to be done. I mean, like for example, a friend of mine is, so many people now are making decentralized discords, more Web3 friendly discords. A really cool one to check out, I think it's gm.org or gm.com. But my friend is making it. They raised a bunch, and it's a really cool platform, combining like the best features from Reddit and Discord together. But like so many people are just taking are taking centralized apps that are popular within the Web3 community, such as Discord, and then saying, we can make this better, we can decentralize it and make it for the Web3 community. And like we're doing that with our project. We're making this like layer for people to do different types of challenges. I can get into that in a little bit.
No,
but
exactly.
Like,
I mean, I've looked at it, and I've looked at the videos. It's actually interesting, very interesting.
Thank you. But there's like NFTs. I mean, rewritable NFTs are a great example of how like the space isn't as decentralized as everyone thinks it is. And that's also like for any newbies who are listening, they're just like, I just don't get it. Like when I got into the space in the middle of 2017, it was during the ICO boom, this thing called initial coin offerings, where these savvy marketers would put up landing pages to basically say like, we're going to make the next Ethereum, we're going to make the next Bitcoin, and you got to send us all this money. And they would drive up this hype. They deliberately would make white papers that people wouldn't understand. And then the retail buyers, they'd be like, wow, I don't understand this. It's probably going to be really sophisticated. I'm going to give them my money. And they would raise all this money in a very, very short amount of time. Like some projects were making like 5 million in like 20 seconds or something. And like a bunch of these devs would ghost, they would just vanish, or they just wouldn't deliver, or they would deliver something that was shit. And I think a lot of that ethos still pervades the ecosystem. It's going away a lot now. But I still think there's this like get rich quick type, thinking, in a sense that if I give my money to a project I don't understand, I have a good chance of getting rich. And I think still a lot of people, I like have made a nice living for myself in crypto, but I don't think every investor says, and I wouldn't call myself an investor, but every investor says like, don't invest in things that you don't understand. And I still think that's like a good mentality to have.
And I see the same with the NFTs. There's a lot of they do marketing. They do great marketing and the same thing. It's just all hype and the
It's
way I
so
see.
much hype. It's
Yeah.
so much crazy hype. And you like, you see the memes on Twitter and you're like, wow, like, this community is killing it. Look at these memes. Like, yeah, it's
So, like with both of them, actually, and it's kind of, I suppose, let's talk about your one because there's something regarding the bots that I'd like to talk about because I'm even seeing people now on other, say, crypto shows, kind of promoting the bots that you can go in and you can set up the parameters that you can go in and bid on the different NFTs. And I think that's actually ruining the whole system. Is it so sophisticated that you can't create a system to keep out the bots?
uh maybe they can and they still want the bots because it creates more trading volume, which makes things look more attractive. So
But
maybe they actually want those bots.
yeah, I mean, for me, like, because I was bidding on something and I saw it happening, and you could see because you can actually check the wallets and everything. You know that a human couldn't actually do that, so
Right.
that was on open sea. But it's for those that are ethical. It's kind of, if you were really genuinely buying something, it's like, am I bidding against, say, you that we really want this piece of art or this whatever it is, or is it some bot that's just rising it up, or even internal? Because
Well,
there's
why is
cases that
using a
has
trading bot unethical?
if you're the buyer and they're just using it just to pump it up, not to buy it. Because when I was doing it, they didn't actually buy it. They had rose it up. So in theory, it should have went to the next buyer, but it didn't.
Oh, they're increasing the value of their own asset
Yeah.
with bots.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. That's pretty common. And I mean, I think you'd have to make algorithms to detect for that behavior because it's like, do you really want to block all bots? We made a marketplace with World of Ether. That was the first. Then we tried to re-release it as an NFT project because that's a crazy story. We made the first play to earn game in crypto. We launched a month and a half after CryptoKitties. NFTs were still new. We didn't know if they were going to catch on. CryptoKitties had made them like blow up, but we didn't know if they would catch on, so we didn't do them as NFTs. And we had an in-app marketplace that we built ourselves. I mean, we like it. For us, it looks good to see a lot of activity on the marketplace. Like if you're the owner, you want to see a ton of activity. And I also still think the Web3 market isn't like, yeah, there's a lot of VC money going into it. And yeah, you could see like accounts like Axie Infinity have so many millions of followers, but I think there's a lot of, to our conversation, there's a lot of bots on social media and trading bots. It just, yeah, I mean, like it makes, there's just so much scams going. I love the space, but there's so many scams going on in the space. Like actually, I could give an interesting story. So a friend of mine who I trust, he's like, oh, I'm gonna develop this project. They're doing a pre-sale. The pre-sale site price is like $1,900 to get in. Would you like to get in? And I was actually like just ready to like be like, take my money right there. And then the guy, my friend was like, oh, and then would like to talk to him? And I'm like, well, if I'm being offered to talk to him, I probably should talk to him. Because I was ready to give my money right there because I trusted my friend. And so I talked to the guy and I kind of understood what he was working on, but what did he say? He did this, he said like, yeah, actually, dude, we just sold out. I'll talk to you anyway, it's good to connect. And he's like, yeah, no, he's like, we have one spot left now, and if you're a whale, then we could also do this special price. Oh, just then he thought I was a whale, and he's like, he's like, oh yeah, the pre-sale for the non-whale sold out, but if you're a whale, you can still get in. And I just didn't respond. And then he's like, oh, actually, it opened back up, and 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 then and he claimed to have it sold out, and he had like 100. He said he had like 100 spots in like the pre-sale, and I just stopped responding to the guy. I'm like, I trust my friend, but I don't trust this guy. And so then the guy invites me to the Telegram group, and the Telegram group has like 5 people in it. And I'm like, that's a very small amount of people for a sale that sold out, for a 100-person sale that sold out. And like then it had, like within like 2 months, the Telegram group increased to like 4,500, and I'm just like, these have to be like mostly bots. And then I found out that this person ripped off these other people, and I'm just like, God, this is like, there's still so much of this going on. And I don't want to dox this person at all. This person was in a jurisdiction which is not a super heavily regulated jurisdiction. And but there, yeah, I mean, so the space is still new. It's still like this Wild West type space. And I think like a lot of projects want there. That's something that we proudly haven't done with our project. And I'm not even trying to show myself. Like, I really like Peter Levels. I don't know if you know who. Do you know Peter Levels?
No.
Peter Levels popularized, I think, after he, like, Tim Ferriss invented the digital nomad, and Peter Levels popularized it. And Peter Levels created Nomad List and Remote OK. He did 12 startups in 12 months. He like, and he's this, and he popularized being like an indie hacker. And so he's also popularized the open movement in terms of making all of your traffic and your revenue and your profit, like your P&L statements, making that all open. You can go, it's crazy, because you can go to remoteok.com/open, see how much that site is making. You can see how much he is making. You can see how much he pays his employees, how much traffic they're getting, and from where. Same, I think it's the same with Nomad List. Huge sites. It's crazy that he's sharing this. And I'm like, that's inspiring, and I want to do that for Commit Club. So we have this community page with, like, our users are very small right now because there's a lot that we want to put in. There's honestly a lot of things that we could have done better, and I can get into that. But like half of the time it's just me using it, and you can see that. And we could easily, it's so easy for us to fake numbers on our platform. And I'm just like, no, like, I don't want to fake Twitter followers. I don't want to fake Discord shit. I don't want to fake the numbers using our stuff. I want everything to be like open. I want to be like the most honest fucking protocol in crypto. I want to be the most honest fucking man in crypto. And yeah, end rant. I like bots, trading bots.
And I suppose let's talk about, because I mean, I think it's actually needed, because the amount of people, if we're just talking about life in general, everybody commits to something, but 95% of them bail on it. And by actually having enough a financial incentive to do it and actually, you know, be out there, because I think once you kind of declare something as well, your chances of succeeding are a lot higher. So, you know, I get what you're doing. I think it's actually a good idea.
Thank you. Yeah, so I'll describe the fundamentals if you haven't gone to the site, you're listening or watching. You commit to a daily challenge by staking ETH. We're also building in Web2 payments. You can stake ETH. Right now we have ETH staking and free. So you can use it with just an email address, with no staking, or if you use crypto, that's when it becomes like super fun. So you stake ETH on your ability to follow through with a daily challenge. You say, okay, I want to tweet every day, and I want to make sure I tweet every day. So I'm going to do a 30-day challenge where I tweet every single day. And this is important to me. I'm going to stake 1 ETH on it. And so every day that you check in, you get an equal portion of your stake back. So 1 ETH, 1 divided by by 30. So you get like that back each day. And the crazy part is, if you miss a day, you lose whatever you haven't earned back. And whatever amount of money you lose gets distributed to everybody else who's being successful. So every day that you check in, you get your own money back, and you get the money from the people who failed their challenges. And we call that circular liquidity, because if you look at these other Web3 health and wellness projects, they have their own tokens, which are like Ponzi-nomic tokens, which are just like a stupid hype game. And like, you look at, like, you could read the articles on Axie Infinity for what happens with these like Ponzi-nomic tokens. But the liquidity comes literally just from the people who failed. And you know, it's not like really speculation, because your ability as well to like, your ability to get your money back, to get your stake back, is just on your ability to follow through. And yeah, that's the V1. And
just on that, because that's why I was kind of conscious of the bots as well, because obviously I get what you're saying. There will be people, once this grows, there could be a lot in the pool that's actually being shared out, and it depends on the stake you put in. But if somebody sets up a bot that basically says, like, meditation, I'll meditate every day, and the bot is actually hitting it every day, so they, you know, obviously they have to have the wallet, the account set up, which somebody can do, but basically they can set up a system that's actually winning.
Absolutely. I'm gonna tell you how the scammer would respond to that question, and then I'm gonna respond in my own way. The scammer would say, oh yeah, we're putting in this thing called proof of trusted witness, where we use oracles to basically detect against fraud. And we have a blockchain API that connects to all of these oracles. And this way, like in order for you to cheat the system, you have to really cheat the oracles. And I could say that, which is true, but that omits the real answer. So now here's how I answer it. And the way that I answer it is, yeah, we're putting that in, but right now it runs on the honor system, because we just, like, the idea started, we wanted to make, we were going to make a mood tracker. And we're like, okay, but how do we incentivize someone to actually like stick to tracking their mood every day? And we started like talking about it. And then my co-founder came back to me and he's like, okay, I have this idea. Like, what if someone actually stakes money and then they get their money back every day? And then like, if they lose, we distribute that to everybody else. And that's how the original idea came up. And then like, we put in things like sharing your challenge, but the OG form, which is like, we've iterated quite a bit since then, but this is still like pretty OG. The OG form of Commit Club is for people who want to commit to themselves first and foremost. It's not about, like, the money part is fun, and especially fun in groups, because in groups, I think there's a lot, like if you do this with a group of your friends, there's a lot less likelihood of lying. An example of that is like that. Do you watch Seinfeld? I don't know. Have you seen Seinfeld?
Years ago, I wasn't much, but I've
one of the most
seen
famous episodes of TV of all time is this episode of Seinfeld where the friends commit to a no masturbation challenge. They do a no fap challenge. They all put money into a pot. Whoever goes the longest without masturbating wins. There's no oracle on that. They don't have like algorithmic chastity belts. Like, they just are honest with each other because they're friends. And so that's one way, one simple way that we could do it. We're also probably going to put in pictures as well, so you could like prove things with pictures, and maybe the group can vote, or a DAO can vote. But
saying that you're going to put pictures in about after the non-masturbation.
Yeah. But I mean, it would work for like a weight loss challenge, you know.
And can you do it like just with your own friends? So does the system allow, say, me and 10 buddies, or are you just, when you're doing whatever, that it goes into the open kind of?
We're building in. So we think, so the way that we built it and the way that we should have built it are very different. The way that we built it is, we're like, this is a cool idea, let's build it. The way that we should have built it would be, this is a cool idea, let's test it, and if it's validated, then let's build it. And now what we're doing is we're validating all the ideas that we have before fully building them out. So we actually are about to put in a test for credit cards to see if people want credit cards, if they would use credit cards a lot more. And they click on the credit card option, they put how much they're going to stake, and then they click commit. And then it says, oh, we're sorry, this isn't ready yet, but Ether is ready and free is still ready. You can still use those. And so before we build out the group functionality, I think we want to have either a big group or a lot of groups ready to go. And then we'll be like, okay, like this amount of groups are ready to go. But really the best way to test something is actually to have them put their money up front. And so I think I can tell you, like, I think group functionality for small groups is coming, but we really want to focus on validating it before we build it. But like, yeah, I like in my mind, I think Commit Club would be like amazing for a small group of friends to do this challenge together, to do these challenges together. Meditation challenges are huge. No fap challenges are so freaking popular.
I could see corporations getting involved in that as well, you know, with a lot of things, whether it's
Yeah.
sales or even just to keep them, because, you know, if they're healthy, you know, if they're doing some run challenge or something like that, it would, you know, be kind of.
Well, so I'll tell you, let me, for anyone listening, we're putting in an affiliate because we're actually like, I'm having a call tomorrow with someone who said the same thing to me. He's like, I can get you being used within all these organizations. So now we're getting into B2B SaaS. And I want to make a really dope affiliate program. And so we're going to do 50% lifetime revenue on the referral for anyone who connects us. And yeah, anyone who connects us to a company using, and we're charging them per month per employee with a flat fee. And so, but like so many people have said, like, yeah, I could see this. I could see health and wellness corporate challenges being like huge. And in fact, I've been researching that. I'm like one of the best search engine optimization people on the planet. And I've been like researching the data behind that, and there is data to validate this. And so, but how do we do this in a lean way? We're going to get the money first to make sure people would pay for it, and then build it. And then, yeah, and what you like, you're preaching to the choir. I'm like, yes, this is what I've been thinking about the entire weekend.
Yeah, excellent. And I know that when you're using the Ethereum, you put in the money, you pay the gas fees, and when you take it out, is that because of, you know, I know it doesn't seem like much, but it can be, sometimes it's $1, sometimes it's $5, and maybe even more. Is that a kind of something that will hold off some people? I mean, it depends on obviously your income, but if you're trying to grow this globally and depending on the kind of spending power, is it too much for some people?
No. So here's one of the mistakes that we made. The answer is no, but it's also the reason that it's no is because we made a mistake. And the mistake that we made is we said, okay, Ethereum has like the most liquidity and the most users. We want to be on Ethereum, but if we want to give people money back every day, we have to custody their funds. So there's not a gas fee every day. And so that's why the answer to your question is no. The gas fees that you pay are like, it'll be like $2 total. And you pay one gas fee to put your money into our system. We hold it and have a double entry accounting on the back. And then when like you get your money back and you make money from people's fail challenges, and finally you say, okay, I want to take my money out, you pay another gas fee, and that's like another $1. And so like the amount of money you pay in gas fees is like $2. And that was our idea when we built it. And also like layer 2s weren't as popular. Polygon wasn't as popular when we started development. And that's also where we made the mistake, because we wanted to be on Ethereum mainnet, because that's where we felt the most. I think the most users are on mainnet, and the most liquidity is on mainnet. But we should have just launched on a layer 2 where there are less users, where you have to use a bridge to even like transfer over your money, and then giving people their money back to their wallet, their actual wallet each day, and have them pay the fraction of a penny transaction fees on that. And then that would have been And part of the reason we didn't do that is because Polygon is only decentralized. It goes back to our previous conversation. Polygon is only decentralized among like 7 people. It's not even that decentralized. And it's like, but they're like, I guess it's better if Polygon is custodying your funds than us. So that's coming where we're switching over to a layer 2. It'll probably be Polygon, and then you'll just be paying a fraction of a cent every day to have your money and money from the losers returned to you. So
And because we've heard of a lot of businesses that have either been infiltrated, they took out the money, or they done a run or hose people, because if it's going in, people are lodging. I mean, obviously you'll have some big boys start getting involved in this. They'll have higher stakes. How is their ETH protected? What systems have you in place that because if
obviously I can't I can't give that away, like, come on.
But you're basically saying that it is protected, that
I'm saying that it is protected, but come on, you don't want to give away. That's like it, like, yeah, you don't want to invite bad actors to know how it's protected. But yeah, I mean, it is protected, and like I said, we're also switching over to a layer 2.
And year weighed in, because is it that you're taking a fee from that? Because obviously it costs a lot of money to develop this and run it.
Yeah, so we bootstrapped this. Mosquito that just got on me. We bootstrapped this. We built it all ourselves. We have a great team. My co-founder is one of the best CTOs, I think, in the world, and our designer is head of design at Grammarly. Like, can't believe I have such an amazing team. But we only make money from failed challenges. So the way the loser pool works is 70% of failed challenges goes to everyone successful, and then we take 30% of the challenges that fail. And then someone might say, okay, I mean, then it's kind of game theory. Someone might say, okay, so why don't you try to wouldn't you want challenges to fail so you make more money? And we're like, no, because if challenges are failing, then there's going to be more churn, and we're not going to have users. And truthfully, there's many more ways to monetize this than just failed challenges. We can have API, we can have, like, with group functionality, we'll charge maybe like a flat fee for like a minimum of like, or a flat fee for like up to 100 users, and then it'll be a special price per user per month. And this is for like corporate challenges, and we won't take any of that loser pool. So there are different monetization structures that we're toying with, but I don't want to take a fee of the loser pool sorry, no. Sorry, I don't want to take a fee of the stakes. That's what I want to say. I want it to be free for you to use Commit Club, unless it's like a corporate challenge, which is different. That's B2B SaaS. So
okay, and I could see maybe charities getting involved as well, like, because that the fees could go towards them, and with the wearables as well. I'm sure that you'd be able to work out something on that, because if you can get people to get into the wearables on a specific project, that's obviously of benefit to the actual supplier of the wearable.
Yeah, well, both those things are huge. So charities are huge, and that's one bonus for, like, I think a lot of companies doing corporate challenges. They actually want the loser pool. Instead of going to the successful participants, they make it go to charities. In terms of wearables as oracles. So the interesting thing about oracles, as in like external companies that validate whether somebody did or did not do their challenge, is we're connecting to all these different APIs that validate these things, but a lot of these companies will change their APIs without telling devs, and that could be fine for other companies where money isn't on the line, but with us, where money is on the line, like, it can cause problems. And I think it's possible that one of the ways that our protocol will trend towards, or one of the areas that our protocol will trend towards, is we'll have like a DAO that essentially will rate different oracles on their trustworthiness. Okay, like, if this oracle keeps on, I forget the tokenomic, my co-founder thought of like really inspiring tokenomics for this. I think he was basing it on tornado.cash. And because there's a lot like technically that they did in that project, which from my understanding is very impressive. But we could look at this oracle and be like, okay, this oracle keeps changing its API, doesn't let us know like this oracle is not trustworthy, and other people can look at our trust ratings for these oracles and know whether or not they want to work with them. And that's like the wearables, the oracles, that's like a really big, funny enough, even though we don't have it in our V1, that's a huge aspect of this project.
And also, because I mean, like, you know, you have the sharing option, but also because I don't know, some video that I watched that you were talking about, it was about like, say, the badges for the NFTs, so that if they complete a challenge, and like, that's all marketing. I love it. Like, everything is kind of that you're doing is super marketing, because, you know, people do see other people's pages where they have their NFTs hosted, and it's like, oh, what's this about? And I think it's something that's just going to it's going to constantly increase. I can see it really taking off.
I hope so. Yeah, I really hope so. And I appreciate the positivity. In fact, I thought of that because I came across POAP. I was one of the first people to see POAP. And do you know POAP? You've heard of POAP?
POAP, no.
Proof of attendance protocol. And it's a really easy interface that allows anyone to create basically like badges for doing something. At first it was just for like attending an event, and now it could be like voting in Snapshot or like completing a course. And you get this POAP, and it's on XDAI, so you don't pay a minting fee. I think XDAI has changed to Gnosis chain, and you don't pay a minting fee. And then if you want to put it on a mainnet, you pay a minting fee. And but so I saw POAP and I'm like, this is really inspiring. But the problem with POAP is there's not a lot of metadata attached, so you can't say like why you got it, like why you got this badge, or like who like why you got this badge, who the artist of the badge was, how many sets in the, like how many pieces in the badge set. Like there are all these different interesting pieces of metadata that could be thrown in that aren't. And I want to take this protocol and fork it to make our NFT achievement badges, because POAP is an inspiring and interesting project, super widely adopted. Last I checked, they raised 10M in funding, and do that and have these like NFT achievement trophies, badges for Commit Club. Yeah, just like you said.
Excellent. So listen, I mean, I've covered a lot of this stuff, but I definitely, I know it's early days for you, but I definitely want to get you back when you've kind of developed a bit more, because it's very, very interesting, and it's a nice space that what you're doing, and I know that you're going to be developing it a lot as you go along. So you might let people know how they can get in contact with you.
Yeah, our site is commitclub.co, or you can message me on Twitter. I'm at Edward_Sturm. And my DMs are open, or feel free to add me on LinkedIn. Reach out to us on Discord or through the site. And I love talking with everybody. I just love talking. It's probably tell from this podcast. Yeah, reach out.
Oh, cool. Thanks very much. I'll make sure I put all them links both on the audio and the video.
Thank you.
That's all for the Crypto Podcast. You'll find all our episodes on thecryptopodcast.org. As mentioned, we're on BitChute and YouTube. You'll find everything about me, all my social media, all my other podcasts, and my podcast coaching on bio.link/podcaster. Be sure to subscribe, give us a thumbs up, share with your friends, and check out Edward's new program, because it's actually very interesting. Until next week, take care.